Are you running or are you walking? Let me go ahead and define what I mean by this. When you are walking through life, I should say, when you are going through life, are you intentionally figuring out how you can make your life better and how you can make those you interact with, their lives better? Are you continually focusing on each and every step you need to take in order to run your race well? Well, in this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about that. And I wanted to talk about a little bit what I learned today as I went out of the house and looked at a couple of things. So let's go ahead and hop on into this. This is day 12 or episode 12 of the Process of Starting Over podcast. I am actually going to, I don't know if I'll be posting regularly on the daily. We'll see that I might have to start changing the posting schedule of this podcast, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. If you guys want to contact me, we do have a Discord server in the description below, and you guys can message me on Discord. And I am also on Instagram. You guys can also comment down below and ask me questions in the comments. I might even make a video about them if you guys leave enough comments or leave enough information for me to talk about, or if it's a good enough question. So anyways, let's go ahead and hop on in. Are you running? Are you running or are you walking? Okay, so let's go ahead and hop on in and actually describe this term. First of all, I want to point out how in the Bible, Paul references racing so many times. He compares the Christian walk many times to a race. Very interesting that he calls it a race, because you would think that most of the time you're cruising through your Christian walk, through your Christian life. You would think that most of the time it's not really a race. Like, who are we racing? What are we trying to beat? Type of thing. Why does he call it a race? Well, he calls it a race because you have to keep on running. He's saying that if you stop moving, you're going to be in last. You're not going to win. So first of all, let's go ahead and before I get to that Bible verse, I want to talk about what led me to want to talk about this specifically. Okay, so I was at a store called Dick's Sporting Goods, all right? And while I was here, I actually have some footage, so I'll go ahead and put the footage up while I'm talking. But I just noticed that while I was there, I noticed the focused, concentrated effort that they had to do in order to make these specific products. Think about how much effort goes into making the specific products that people need to use in order to play these sports. Specifically, I saw things for pickleball, for golf, and for tennis. And that was kind of insane to me, the amount of effort and work that went into making shoes, that went into making rackets. There was specific tape that they needed to put on the specific rackets because they get worn out. Then there was also shock absorption pads that had to go onto the rackets in order to absorb the shock of the ball when it hits the racket. So then you could actually hit the ball with your full strength without worry of hurting your hands. Then specifically for golf, they had so many different things that you use in order to hit the golf ball. And mind you, I don't know a lot of things about these sports, but the amount of effort that has to go into them in order to create products like this. People had to go find the problems, make solutions for the problems, and then once they made solutions for the problems, they found more problems that they can make things. There was so much concentrated effort that went into fixing and solving these problems. Very interesting how they put into that. And then not only the work that the people who play the sports have to go into in order to hone their craft and be a professional at their sport. Like, that's insane to me. The amount of effort that people playing the sport have to do and the amount of effort that people researching and creating products for the sport have to do is insane. You know what I'm saying? And we don't even put that much effort into our Christian walk. We don't put pretty much any effort. We don't even put that effort into our career paths. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane to me how all these people who are going to go play sports or who are going to do and train for the Olympics, they put so much effort into that. You know what I'm saying? If we put half that effort into our Christian walk, if we put half that effort into our career paths that we really want to do in order to make millions and trillions of dollars, we would be there so much faster than we would right now. So let's go ahead and talk about the first part in the Bible where, like, I'm not saying this is the first time that Paul mentions walking in a race or running the race, but this is definitely the most key part in my opinion, because he really has he has 3 verses here that he talks about this specific point. So let's go ahead and bring this up. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 to 27, the last section of this, he says this. He said, "Do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may obtain it. And everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a perishable crown, but we for an imperishable crown. Therefore I run thus, not with uncertainty. Thus I fight, not as one who beats the air, but I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified. Okay, so I actually want to focus specifically on the part where he is saying, but I discipline my body and bring it into subjection. So I want to focus on that specific part because the reason why we don't put as much effort into our career path, or we don't put as much effort into our Christian walk, is because we're not disciplining ourselves. We're saying, I really don't want to do this, and so I'm not going to do it. And then we don't end up doing it. And then we complain about it later saying, dude, why are all these people making millions? And why am I sitting here barely scrounging and we're like living paycheck to paycheck? Well, the reason why is because you're not putting enough discipline and concentrated effort into that. And given that might not be the reason for you, maybe you are doing those specific things, but there are other reasons that are not getting you to that point. But most of the time, it's because we're not putting in the effort that we could be putting in order to do our work. There's a rule called the 80-20 rule where it says 20% of the effort that you put in yields 80% of the outcome. And most of the time, we're focusing on that other 80% that only yields 20% of the outcome rather than the 20% that's really going to give us that extra oomph into what we need to do. And the reason why we don't want to focus on that 20% is because that extra 20% is normally the hardest 20% out of the 100% of work that we're doing. We don't want to concentrate on that 20%. But think about it. This is what other people who play sports professionally are doing. This is what people who use science and concentrated effort to focus on problem solving for those sports are doing. And yet we're not doing that in the most important part of our lives, which is our walk with Christ. Actually, our run with Christ. I don't ever want to call it a walk with Christ again, because it's not a walk. We're supposed to be running, He's saying run it like it's a race and run to win the prize. You know what I'm saying? Actually, that even goes one more step that Paul was talking about. He's like, it's not just the walk, it's the prize at the end, the reason why we keep on doing it. You know what I'm saying? So our salvation with Christ and being able to spend eternity with Christ as our leader is pretty awesome stuff, okay? But he's saying we don't even take that focus and we don't even take that discipline. Kind of interesting stuff, how we don't discipline ourselves in order to get to the point that we need to get to. Kind of interesting in my opinion. How come we're not putting that concentrated effort in? Well, I'm going to give you an honest answer. I don't know. Why aren't we putting that concentrated effort in? Is it because it's making us uncomfortable? Is it because we are lazy? Is it because that we've gotten to a point in our lives where we really just don't want to put the effort in? Is it because that we know that Christ is going to come back soon and so we don't want to put the effort in that we need to? We're like, oh, he's going to come back soon anyways. What's the point of focusing on this? Well, I'll tell you right now, we're meant to be a representation of Christ in the here and now. We are made in his image and we're supposed to represent him well. So by living the life that we're living and being lazy about what we're supposed to be doing, our career paths or our run with Christ, by being lazy about that, we're misrepresenting Christ. Not only are we misrepresenting Christ, but we're also not living to our fullest potential in our lives. And then we complain about it later. And listen, there's no problem with complaining when it's in a proper place, in my opinion, okay? You can complain, but you can't complain about things that you can control. You see what I'm saying? You could control the place that you're in your life, and you're not putting enough effort in order to get to those specific places. And I'm guilty of it too. I agree. I mess up a lot of the times. I end up complaining that I'm like, dude, why am I not here? Well, it's because I haven't put the effort in that I need to put in. When I'm reading this cybersecurity book, I am not reading to my fullest capacity. When I passed my first certification test for Security Plus, I passed in a month because I was so focused on the goal that doing everything else that I was doing didn't seem hard at all. When you're focusing on the goal and focusing on what you really want to achieve, it's so much easier to tackle and so much easier to push through everything and can keep on going. And I know people are going to comment later and they're going to be like, but dude, doesn't that mean you're not focusing on what God really wants for your life? Okay, listen, I am focusing on what God really wants for my life. I also know that God wants me to represent him well. And so if I'm going to achieve a specific goal and I have the opportunity in order to do that goal and I'm prepared to take the opportunity, then I'm going to keep on doing it. And if I need to prepare myself more to take that opportunity, then I will keep on preparing myself. The Bible calls us to keep on learning and to keep on growing. It keeps, like Paul is saying, to keep on running. You know what I'm saying? So in the same way, we should be doing that in our entire lives and everything that we do. Like I'm pretty sure in Proverbs in the Bible, it says, if it's not worth giving your 100%, it's not worth doing at all. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, but or it's like whatever you do, do with all your might. It's like it says something like that in the Bible, and we are not doing that. You know what I'm saying? If we just followed that, and if it wasn't worth doing, we would just throw it away. We would actually be living out, not only living out Scripture, but we would achieve much more in our lives than what we're achieving now. So once again, I'm going to ask that question: are you running or are you walking? Odds are most of us are walking, but we really need to start running. We really need to get on the ball. You know, how do we do that? Well, I'm sure you can think of a couple areas in your life where you are not going the fullest capacity where you need to go. Take those specific moments first, the first things that come into your mind, and start applying those. Start applying areas where you can focus on that 20%, and that yields 80% of the outcome. Focus on that hard 20% and do your best in order to achieve more of that. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and do it. All right. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm going to keep on working on it. I'm going to give you guys updates on what my reading is like for CISA Plus. I'm going to be like, okay, well, I finished this and this today, you know? So starting Monday, I will let you guys know and be like, hey, so this is what happened. I read this much. And actually, I guess that's starting Tuesday, because Monday's video is actually going to be recorded Sunday evening, which means that I will update you on Tuesday, which would be Monday evening after I finished all my stuff. So anyways, thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it and you guys want to learn more, there's more videos right here that you guys can watch, and you guys can subscribe to the channel right here. And sorry that I haven't replied to everyone's comments yet. I'll be replying to people's comments probably tomorrow, honestly. So by the time this video is posted, well, not by the time this video is posted, but tomorrow after this video is posted at some point, I'll reply to the comments. The comments that you guys send are really awesome. It's just that I really have to think about my replies so I can make sure that I'm not misleading anybody, or that I'm focused on what I'm doing too. Replying to you guys really helps me break in and reinforce the information that I'm learning. So really cool stuff. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember, watch the videos right here if you guys are interested. Subscribe to the channel here. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you very much to the Spotify listeners and to everybody who's listening on Apple or Amazon. And you guys are really awesome, okay? Thank you guys. Stay strong. Fly on. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.